Hey everybody, it's Leroy from Leroy Gaming, and in today's Baldurs Gate 3 guide, we're going to be looking at the Way of the Four Elements subclass for the Monk. We're going to cover features at level 1 of character creation, including ability recommendations. You're going to get a full level 2 to 12 breakdown of this elemental focused Monk subclass. We're also going to be looking at the specific spells you get access to, which do include unique spells that only the monks get. Also, I'm going to give you general equipment recommendations and my thoughts on multiclassing the Way of the Four Elements Monk. You can use timestamps below to jump to areas that most interest you, and remember to drop a like and leave a comment below of your thoughts, feedback, and questions. And now, without further ado, let's check out the Way of the Four Elements Monk. Alright, at level 1, it is important to note that you're not going to get to choose your subclass right away. The monk, however, has a primary ability score of dexterity. They're going to have saving throw proficiencies in strength and dexterity. Their hit die is 1d8 hit points per monk level, and you're going to have very basic proficiencies in simple weapons and short swords. Now you are going to unlock numerous class features. The first one's going to be Ki, which is an energy pool that you're going to use for powering some of your monk abilities. You're going to get unarmed defense, which means you can add your wisdom modifier to your armor class as long as you're not wearing any armor. You get dexterous attacks, which allows you to use dexterity instead of strength for your monk weapon and unarmed attacks, as long as your dexterity is higher than your strength. You also get deft strikes, and then you also get deft strikes. This makes it so that attacks of your monk weapons and unarmed attacks deal 1 to 4 bludgeoning damage. Unless your normal damage is higher, this does scale up as you get higher in levels. Do note that monk weapons are any weapons that you are proficient with in this version of the game. And finally, you get a bonus unarmed strike. This basically means that when you attack with a monk weapon or unarmed, you can use a bonus action to do another attack. So right off the bat, without using any Ki, you can technically get 2 attacks per round. Now you can use your Ki at level 1 to use Flurry of Blows, which is a bonus action that uses a Ki point, which does 2 rapid fire attacks. So you could basically do 3 attacks maximum at level 1 with a monk. Now as far as ability scores go, the most important abilities are going to be Dexterity at 17, Constitution at 14, Wisdom at 16. You'll notice right now I'm showing Strength, Intelligence, and Charisma all at 8. You have 2 points left. You can put them in any one of these that you want. I will, for example, put it in Strength right now just so you can jump a little further, and also so you have a higher weight capacity. Now do note, I have Dexterity at 17. You can do a search on the internet or YouTube for the Hag quest or dealing with the Hag. If you help her out, you can get a permanent +1 to one of your stats. And I would recommend putting that in Dexterity here so that you can quickly max out Dexterity and potentially Wisdom as well as you level up. Now at level 2, you're going to get an additional Ki point, and you're going to get unarmed movement. This makes it that you can move 3 meters further whenever you move, as long as you're not wearing armor or using a shield. You also get 3 different Ki actions. The first one is Patient Defense. For a bonus action and a Ki point, for 1 turn, attacks rolled against you have disadvantage, and you have advantage on dexterity saving throws. Step of the Wind Dash lets you double your movement speed, and Jump no longer requires a bonus action. This lasts a turn, and it uses a Ki and a bonus action. And then you get Step of the Wind Disengage. This lets you disengage, which basically lets you move away from enemies and not trigger attacks of opportunity. Also, Jump no longer requires a bonus action for the rest of the turn. This does take a bonus action and a Ki point. At level 3, you're going to get to choose your subclass, and here we're choosing Way of the Four Elements. You're going to get an extra Ki point. You're going to get Deflect Missiles. This is a feature that you can use a reaction when somebody shoots at you, as long as you can see the attack coming. And it's going to roll 1d10, and it's going to add your dexterity modifier plus your monk level, and it's going to reduce the damage by that much. If that damage happens to get to 0, you'll have the option to use a key point to instead deflect the missile back at the enemy. You will also get an action called Harmony of Fire and Water. And this is, while not in combat, you're going to regain half your key points rounded down. You will also get to choose 3 spells. Now you will notice that unlike other casters, you're actually going to be using key for spells instead of magic slots. Now I'm going to go ahead and mouse over all these spells. You can pause at any point if you want to take a look at them. Many of them are going to be renames and slight variants of spells that already exist for other casters. Now, I want to point out something kind of unique with casting spells, quote unquote, and spell abilities as a monk. But when you do actually use one of these strikes / spells, it will proc an extra unarmed attack. So take a look at this. And so now, as you see that pop up, you have the ability to do an unarmed attack right off the bat. Let me show that one more time. And it's a modified attack that will do extra elemental damage depending on what the element was of the attack that you did. So let's again show the fang of the fire snake. You'll see the proc effect, and there it is. It does 1d8 plus 8 here, plus 1d4 fire damage. And you get that extra bonus attack that you get to utilize every time that you cast one of these spells. At level 4, you're going to get another key point. You're going to get Slow Fall. You can use a reaction to gain resistance to fall damage. You will get an opportunity to replace a spell if you wish. And then you're going to get to pick feats. Now, like the other monks, ability improvement is going to be super strong for this class. You can get your dexterity to 20, your wisdom to 20 as well. However, unlike the other monks, I can also highly recommend Elemental Adept. This allows you to pick one of the elements here, and your spells will ignore resistance to damage types of this choice. And when you cast a spell of that type, you cannot roll a 1. So it's a way to guarantee that you're going to be doing more damage. Again, you do get access to a variety of cold, fire, lightning, and thunder spells. If you want to focus in on one of them, then I would pick up one of these as a feat to maximize their damage and minimize the chances that enemies will be able to resist the damage. Do note, this does not work against enemies that have immunity to a certain element. At level 5, you're going to get another key point. You'll get an extra attack. And you will get access to Stunning Strike Melee and Stunning Strike Unarmed. This uses a key point, and in addition to your melee attack, you're going to be also having a chance to stun an enemy. Now, I will point out that the other monks get this as well, but since you're really focused on spellcasting using key for spellcasting, for this subclass, I would probably not spend it on this effect, and instead utilize it for the variety of spells. And then you can, of course, replace a spell as well if you wish. At level 6, you're going to get an additional key point. You're going to get improved unarmed movement, so your movement speed is now increased by 4.5 meters when you're not wearing armor or using a shield. You're also going to get key empowered strikes. Your unarmed attacks now count as magical for the purpose of overcoming enemies' resistance and immunity to non-magical damage. You will get to replace a spell, but you're also going to get to gain a spell. Now you're going to get access to the spells you didn't choose before, plus the following 3. At level 7, you're going to get an additional key point. You're going to get evasion, and this is an effect that when a spell or effect would deal half damage on a successful dexterity saving throw, instead it's going to do no damage if you succeed, and half damage if you fail. You'll also get stillness of mind. So if you are charmed or frightened, you're going to automatically cast stillness of mind, which is going to remove those conditions. And then you will have an opportunity to replace the spell if you'd like. At level 8, you're going to be getting an additional key point. You're going to get to replace a spell, and you're going to add another feat. Again, I recommend ability improvement or an elemental adept. At level 9, you're going to get another key point. You're going to get advanced unarmed movement, so now difficult terrain doesn't slow you down. And you can jump an additional 6 meters, as long as you're not wearing armor or using a shield. You will also get improved elemental casting. And so with this, your affinity of the elemental key deepens. Several of your offensive 4 elements features deal an additional dice of damage. Your Clinch of the North Wind can hold an additional creature, and your Embrace of the Inferno fires an additional ray. So here's what these normally are. The Embrace of the Inferno is bugged here, but basically this normally shoots out 3 rays, so this should fire out 4. And you get to pick another spell. As a reminder, these spells are going to be more powerful versions, meaning they're going to do more damage than a lot of the baseline versions that you find. And some of them are unique, like Fist of the Unbroken Air. This is the 4d10 bludgeoning damage. Blade of Rhyme, you'll notice, is 1d10 plus 2d6 and so forth. At level 10, you're going to get to replace a spell. You're going to get an additional key point. You're going to get improved unarmored movement again. So now your movement speed is increased by 6 meters while not wearing armor or using a shield. You're going to get Purity of Body, so you're not immune to poison damage and you can't be poisoned or affected by disease. At level 11, you're going to get another key point. You're going to be able to replace a spell. And you're going to get to pick one more spell here. You get access to 3 brand new ones. Flame of the Phoenix is very powerful. Do note this one costs 4 key points, for example. And here are the other 2. And then at level 12, you're going to get one more additional key point. You're going to get to replace a spell if you'd like. And you're going to pick one more feat. Alright, now let's talk about equipment for this monk subclass. Like normal monks, you're going to benefit from clothing that's built specific for monks that will give you extra AC. You can get cloaks like Cloak of Protection to increase your AC and saving throw. You're still going to be doing quite a bit of unarmed attacks, especially of those free bonus attacks you're going to be getting after casting spells. So something like Boots of Uninhibited Crescido is going to be really good for adding your Wisdom modifier to your unarmed strikes. I can highly recommend specific jewelry that's going to give you extra armor class, like this Ring of the Twilight or the Ring of Protection. Also, any items that will increase your spellcaster DC. Since you are technically a caster, there are certain quote-unquote magical attacks slash spells that can definitely be resisted for partial damage, for example. So making it harder for them to make their saves is very helpful. You're probably not going to be using any weapons. There are some quarterstaffs and staffs that are built for monks. You can get those if you'd like. And for bows, I recommend finding a bow that's going to give you some resistances or special effects, like this Darkfire Shortbow. It gives you resistance to fire and cold and also lets you cast haste, which is very powerful on a monk. Otherwise, in addition to those, you can also look for items that will give you access to spells, kind of like Misty Step or other spells. Now let's talk about multiclassing. And I will say that this specific subclass of the monk is really not that great for multiclassing. And the reality is that because it is a martial spell class that actually uses key points instead of spell slots for casting, it makes it very, very difficult to multiclass, because it's not like you can use spell slots from other classes to use instead of key points. So every single level you don't take in Monk is going to be one less key point that you get to utilize. And also don't forget you have your Harmony of Fire and Water, which is going to help you regain half your key points rounded down. So the lower your Monk level, the less key, the less potent that is. Also don't forget about your melee damage scaling as well. Baseline at level 1, your Monk attacks are 1d4 damage, but by max level it maxes out currently at 1d8. So there's a lot to lose when you multiclass. If you want to multiclass, I would say either of the other subclasses is going to be good. This one, just pick it if you want to play kind of a unique hybrid melee that also has some interesting spells with some spells that nobody else can get. Alright guys, that brings me to the end of my guide for the Way of the Four Elements subclass for the Monk. Let me know your thoughts below in the comments. Do you agree with my assessment? Do you have some recommendations for specific items that you can get for this class as you level up? Would love to hear from you. Of course, if you do find this video helpful, please drop a like. It helps out a lot. And if you want to see more content from me, do not forget to subscribe. As always, I love all your support. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys in the next video.